What's up, everybody? That was a way shorter intro than I'm used to. What's up, everybody? Your boy Oz here. Another edition of Behind the Curtain. And we have a special guest with us this evening. But before we get to that, I would like to remind everyone that coming up here in a short, about 2 months now, our first in-person conference here in Fort Wayne, Indiana, at the Allen County War Memorial Coliseum. Better. Seth Andrews, you might have heard of him. Shannon Q, you might have heard of her. Paula Gia, maybe here and there you've heard that name, but no. Dave Warnock, Dr. Josh, Cynthia McDonald, and more and more and more. And we're also Madam Who will be there. And we're trying to line up some additional, more entertainment driven appearances. So the links and everything will be in the chat. Go get your reservations. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be badass. We're going to have a blast. And then I don't know if Biddy's here right now, but one of the perks is Biddy just wants to get drunk with everybody. So if you've never seen or heard Biddy drunk, it's a riot. It's a fucking riot. So that's worth the price of admission standalone right there. So and then the only other thing I'll plug right now, just because it's later tonight after this stream, there was a good number of people that caught it, but this morning I went to my brother's church unannounced, and was for to be full transparency for two. One, my dad, my stepmom were there, and I thought my grandma was going to be there. It turns out she wasn't there, but I went to see them. And that was the first time I've been to the church since my mom's funeral. But I went, and so I went for that. But I also went because it was the last week of a quote unquote series my brother was doing on being able to defend the faith or defend your belief, or however the fuck he titled it. And I recorded the message. Well, I did it live actually, and then I'm going to review it tonight because obviously in the church service I wasn't going to speak as he was doing. I was trying to be that disrespectful, but we're going to go through that tonight, and that's going to be fun because there was a lot of bullshit spouted off. So we'll do that later on tonight after this. But let's get the proceedings proceeding this evening. Producer Wes, can we have our guest Ashley and the man Phil? There we go. What's up, everybody?
Hey. Hi.
Nice to be here. Nice to be here. Happy to be here.
I'm fucking jacked, Phil.
Jacked? You're jacked. Okay. As in Jack Daniels?
No, just gin.
Oh wow. Dang.
Jim Daniels.
I don't drink straight from the bottle. I was literally getting ready to pour it in the intro. I was like,
you just hold it like a security blanket? Is it? There you go.
I was gonna say that's hardcore.
I have my planetary glasses, and today we have the sun. So nice. This is what I'm drinking out of.
But what are you drinking?
Black Russian, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm super boring. I have water.
Ashley's going hardcore.
Or it could be all vodka or tequila.
Or gin.
or gin. Yes, it could be.
Well, Ashley, thank you for joining us this evening. And I know you and I talked, time flies, almost 2 months ago, I think.
Dang.
I feel like it. But again, my time, my sense of time is fucked. So don't listen to me. But Ashley joined me on my show, What's Your Story? we dug into, her past, her experience, coming out of Christianity, deconversion, all of that. Tonight's going to be more focused on Ashley, the content creator, her channel, what she's doing, maybe short-term, long-term goals, and then how can we help each other? And that's part of Behind the Curtain, as we've stated, in other episodes, is helping each other. And the rising tide raises all ships. If we're getting better, we're all going to get better together. So that's what it's going to be about. So Ashley, before we get into discussing the actual process of creating content and all that, for those that have maybe never seen you, heard you, met you, anything like that, tell everybody who you are, your channel name, and what your primary focus is for your channel.
Okay. Well, my name is Ashley Flieger, and on YouTube and all the socials and stuff, I go by Apostate Ashley. And so that's where you'll find my YouTube. I mostly do interviews with other members of the Clergy Project about how they got into religion, ministry, and why they got out. I've kind of gone through like a little lull lately, so I haven't posted in a few weeks or so, but I've done a couple others. I did an interview with Cindy Lincoln, which was really fun, who is the ex-wife of Kent Hovind. And so that was a lot of fun. So I've kind of done some random stuff, but it's like literally all about religion. And I haven't made too much about myself personally on there. So far, I just really want to get out a bunch of stories of other members from the Clergy Project, which, if anybody who's watching doesn't know what the Clergy Project is, it's a nonprofit, like 501c3 for ex-ministers or current. And it's just like a community, a support, and they offer secular therapy project, like 12 free sessions of counseling, training, coaching for careers, since it's really hard coming out of becoming a minister and trying to get back into the real world. And so I realized how different a lot of our stories were. And so I really wanted to start highlighting some of that, because when I entered into it, it seemed like everything was kind of, like a secret. Nobody really knew anything about any of the people unless they were willing to be out there themselves, writing books or whatever.
How did you find out about the Clergy Project? Where did you learn of it first? Oops.
When I used to be a pastor, and over the years, just people had always made comments to me, have you heard of the Clergy Project? And so after a while, especially when I returned on social media, I was off for like 7 years or so. And when I came back on, I decided that I would look into it finally. And so it was really just social media, online, people saying stuff.
That's wonderful. I mean, it's a terrific. First time I heard about it, it's just a wonderful concept.
Yeah.
So, and it's just like, I wish we'd had it so much earlier.
I know. It started back in 2011, but I didn't even join it myself until a little over a year ago. I really wish I would have way sooner.
And not to go too far off this, but I think these questions are important to ask, especially if people are just learning about your channel. It'll give them a little more insight into who you're interviewing and what topics are going to come up the most. So, like, one of the first things I think about is, with the interviews we've had, we usually are speaking with, not all the time, but usually speaking with your everyday Christian layperson, right? They're not in the ministry, not pastors. So that is what it is. What do you find is maybe one or two of the biggest hurdles for those that are in full-time ministry, that not only is that their belief, their worldview, that's where their faith lies, but it's also their livelihood. That's their income, how they take care of themselves and their families. What would you say are maybe the one or two biggest obstacles or hurdles for them in walking away?
Oh gosh, I would have to. Oh wow, sorry, my hair's crazy. I would have to say one of the biggest things is that a lot of the people that are in the ministry or have been in the ministry have been so completely enthralled in it that it's all they know. They haven't had any other training, and even maybe socially, maybe slightly awkward trying to get back into the real world. And so I think that that is one of the biggest things, aside from the community of it socially. You're completely, most of the time, cutting off everybody. And so you have to brace yourself and be prepared for when you're going to come out with this. How open are you going to be about it? Are you going to communicate this with the congregation? And for a lot of people, that community entails not just the church family and all of those people, but it will entail family members, a lot of family members. So when you decide to walk away from that, there's going to be so many people who are not going to understand. And you've been in a position of leadership or, having been looked up to. And now all of a sudden you're going to be kind of the complete opposite of that. And I don't know, there's probably a lot more to say than that, but I'd have to say in general, for a lot of people, it's just getting into the real world, trying to find a real job or how to function outside of the church, and then how those relationships look with the people that were a part of that world still.
And go ahead, Phil.
So we've heard stories of people, pastors of various stripes, continuing preaching even after they've transitioned to non-belief, in part because they don't know anything else. They don't have other training. That's their income, and it's one of the saddest things to me to think of someone who stays up at the pulpit when they don't sort of mean what they're saying. I just, the guilt that they must feel for doing that. And recovering from religion, and the clergy project in this case, would help to shorten that time, because it gives them some knowledge that there is some ways to be helped in a transition, so they don't, once they do make that decision that they don't believe anymore, they don't have to keep doing that.
Yeah, and it makes it a lot harder in certain flavors of Christianity too. There are some churches that are more progressive than others, so you can preach or speak in such a way that you're not really giving much away. But especially like the Pentecostal churches and things like that, it makes it harder when certain services come up throughout the year and it's been a little while that you've not believed, and like Easter comes up or the Christmas service, and you have to preach on those things. And I was lucky because I was not a senior pastor. I was an assistant with my ex-husband. We were both assistant pastors, and so I spoke a little bit more with like the youth groups and the college age, but there are some members that were senior pastors of the church and or priests, and a lot of them, were the senior pastor, the lead pastor of the church, and they had to be up there on the pulpit preaching those sermons on Sunday mornings. And some of them did it a lot longer than I did. I would have to say I was probably an atheist about a year, but there are some of them that have done it for years.
I think it was Ryan Bell when he did his Year Without God, about 4 years ago was, maybe you remember that. I think he went about a year. So gosh, that's shocking to think of doing that for 3 years. Wow.
I know. Yeah, I had began to just shut down. I couldn't handle sitting in worship. And I mean, obviously I sat up in the front, you know how that goes. The past, all the staff, they sit up in the front row, all that, and then having to, fight through the worship, worship no matter what type of thing. I couldn't do that anymore. I was sitting in the back or roaming the halls.
Was that a source of trauma for you? I mean, there's other traumas that come from coming out of religion, but was that a source of trauma that you had to get over time, or did that one kind of let go fairly quickly?
Yeah, there were quite a few things that were pretty traumatic towards the end there, trying to leave. Because my leaving was pretty abrupt. I personally didn't really say goodbye to the congregation or anybody. I packed a suitcase and hopped on a bus and left. It wasn't really an easy situation to just tell them I wanted to leave and be able to leave.
Can you tell us, or if you don't want to, what your husband's position is?
Well, the husband that I had when I was a pastor, we got divorced. I left. So when I left and got on the bus, that was pretty much like the last we had ever really talked or like seriously talked or anything. Because after that, we just kind of started moving towards the divorce process. Wow. He knew that I was questioning. He found out that I didn't believe anymore, and so that conversation didn't really go very well. He was incredibly close-minded. He didn't want to know anything that I had learned.
Isn't that amazing?
That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. The whole idea that somebody, if you, I can understand not wanting to be challenged, but it's like if your beliefs, if your God is true, you would think it would stand up, right, to any kind of challenge. So you think to some degree that they kind of at least want to hear the reasons. So that's an indication that they're believing for other reasons, because simply they want to believe. They don't want to not believe it. And don't show me anything that might point me in that direction, kind of thing.
Yeah, it was really weird. And it's weird now to think back on it, because it's been coming up on 9 years now, and it's just so weird that so much time has gone by and that was my life. And I don't know, whenever I mean, obviously I still have to see him when I meet him for my daughter to go stay with him for a little while. But I mean, throughout the years, our interaction has only been, when he's going to see her and when I'm getting her back, and that's about it. And so a few months ago, I had said something like, hey, we've never really had a conversation. I just kind of like escaped on a bus and left, and that was that. And I mean, in some ways I feel horrible, but I don't know. It's really weird. It's just so weird how much some of these churches have a hold on people, that they freak out about people leaving. Like, you should be able to say, peace, I don't want to be here anymore. And leave.
Yeah. And I remember Apostle Mike, which Ashley also did an interview with, and know that $50 fucking gift card that he talks about with mythicism. Bullshit. That's as much as a myth as Jesus is.
You can't make an exception for me.
Apostle Mike, send her the goddamn gift card. Apostle Mike, I think everybody knows that's the homie. That's Big Brother. But he's the one that introduced me to the quote when we first started our channel together. Truth does not fear investigation. And if you hold truth, and it is a true thing, and we can demonstrate it to be true, and it is in fact true, what the fuck do you what the fuck are you afraid of? Why are you so hostile? Why are you so evasive? And just giving some evidence. That's all we need.
Not that it's always that simple, unfortunately, because we've all met people that are just like that have said, I had some doubts, so I went and investigated, and I found out that lo and behold, I was right about God exists, blah blah blah. So, but for those who want out, and for and who do come to a decision based on, like I keep saying, reality, there needs to be a way out. Otherwise, you're in a cultish religion, as cultish as religions are. Without that, that's one of the primary things about cult, is not being able to walk out the door anytime you want of your own volition.
Yeah, and feel safe, right, Ashley? Like feel
Yeah.
feel like you're to be taken care of.
I mean, because I made reference to the fact that I had only joined social media like May 2020, I think. So I was off of social media for almost 7 years. I felt like I had to fall off the face of the earth, disappear, change my phone number, change my email, change everything, because those people were hounding me for forever. They never ever asked why. They never wanted to know why. Why do you not believe anymore? That was never a question that anybody ever asked me. It was just like lots of calling me and crying and wanting to pray, and I'm like, ugh, I gotta go.
I'll say yes and amen to that, and I'll make this statement. I have one more question along the lines as far as the interviewing those formerly from ministry, clergy, project, that kind of thing, and then we'll dig into more of the content focus. And today, other than my mom's funeral service, today was the first time I stepped in like church, and I don't remember how long now. And it being my brother's church, there's still a lot of fucking people there that I know them and they know me. I used to play the drums there. I used to be the head of all of the small groups there. I was a youth leader. I was like, and what you just said, that's what's sad to me, is it's never a like healthy questions. Like, why did this happen? What caused you to to turn or to walk away? Or it's never that. And I was telling Jena when when I was doing that stream and I walked out of the sanctuary, and it was towards the tail end of the service, and I walked out into the the foyer or the commons area. Most of the people that were out there at that time were those people that I know them and they know me, and it was like literally everybody stopped talking. And it was all eyes on me. And I'm like, what the fuck is your problem? Like, what? How about you guys just be good humans and say hello? How you doing? How you feeling?
It really sucks that these people can't act the same. They feel like this one thing is different, and now all of a sudden you have nothing in common. You can't talk about anything. They can't even act like they still care about you, like they used to say they cared about you.
Yeah, the only one I'll give credit to, and you actually hear it at the end of the live stream I did earlier. My sister-in-law, my brother's wife, was one of them that was out there, and she was the only one that came up, and I have not seen her nor talked to her since my mom's funeral service. And she came up, gave me a hug, said she loved me and she missed me. She at least did that, and but everybody else, it was like this, like polarization was like, oh, the devil's at church today. And it's like, I'm still, and that's what, and Ashley, you could probably say the same thing. I am the same Austin today as I was then. I just don't believe what you believe anymore. But as far as me loving people and loving to help people and giving my time to do whatever and working hard and like all that, like none of that has changed. The only
Mhm.
thing that's changed is that I don't believe what you believe anymore, and I say fuck all the time. That's important to point out.
It took me a little while to cuss, but now I do.
What were you gonna say, Phil?
Now you do. I mean, you never did before. I mean,
When I
on
was mad.
average? Oh, okay. But not in discussion in the back of the church after a service. It wasn't a common word.
No, unfortunately.
What the fuck is this fucking pastor talking about? That would be awesome.
I think we need to get a pocket recorder going and do some trolling. Look at some recording.
I got to put this up, and then we're going to go into the content questioning. Aunt Kathy, and for those who don't know, my real life Aunt Kathy's my real life aunt. Oz, they are now having special prayer meetings for you to come back, and it's funny. It's funny that she says that because they actually did that at my mom's funeral. Like, they had prayer chains going. That my mom's passing and the funeral was going to bring me back to the fold, and that I would once again live for Jesus or what the fuck ever. So that's actually pretty funny. But
yeah, they had a whole when I left, they had a whole church service, like at the end, like a whole big prayer altar call because I had left, and they like announced it, and they brought my ex-husband up, and they were laying hands on him and praying for him and stuff, and it was like, I offered for him to come back with me. I was like, I'm leaving whether you're coming with me or not. See ya. But he chose not to. And it was like this little pity party thing going on up there. It was that mixed with public shunning as well of me.
Wow.
And it's weird too, because like when you're a part of that world, I mean, do you remember feeling that way when people would leave and you're like heartbroken?
And not to go on a rabbit trail, but you come from a very similar as you said it, and I tend to use that too, flavor of Christian.
Yeah.
If someone, it doesn't even mean that they like left the faith, like they become an atheist or agnostic, but they left the church to go to another church. Oh, no. No. If you leave our church to go to another church, you're not hearing from God, and the devil has consumed you. I don't know if it was like that with you, but that's all I ever fucking heard when people left the church.
Yep, definitely. They backslid. They backslid even if they were going to another church. And a lot of the time, the reason why people were going to another church is because they were maybe disagreeing with the leadership, disagreeing with the pastor. And so they wanted to go somewhere else, or because they didn't like the people. But yet somehow it was still that person's fault.
Wow.
Yeah. So you know what? We can keep going there because
we're not even talking about what we're supposed to be talking about.
Yeah.
I think it's my fault.
I'm gonna stop asking questions about that. So.
We're all guilty because those are things that are so easy to jump into it and just dig into. So we'll now throw that squirrel off to the side, and we'll focus on what we're going to be talking about. So obviously, I will ask this question because I think it's a good lead-in question to the content and everything. When talking to for you now, former pastors, that makes me think about all of the other pastors that are still pastoring.
Mm-hmm.
I think you and Phil both mentioned this, that are still pastoring. That are like, what the fuck am I doing? This is bullshit, but money.
Yeah.
But money. Have you had that come up on your show or on your channel?
No, honestly, I don't feel comfortable they don't, the ones that are still in do not feel comfortable with interviewing. And I probably, or is that what you were asking?
Well, yeah, and I'm sorry. I'll rephrase that. Are there any of those that have come out now that they've walked away? They're done. Have they had that conversation where that they've shared that was a major hurdle for them in leaving, was the financial security of being?
Yes, definitely, especially because a lot of them that were senior pastors that were the main breadwinner for their family. A lot of them had to stay there for a while because, I mean, they had to figure out what the heck they were going to do leaving. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's. We have a super chat, and
I was just about to call for one because I wanted a drink.
There we go.
Oh, love my water.
What happens on ours? Here we go.
Passed her out.
Native Atheist.
Native Atheist for $10. Thank you for the support. Thank goodness for the Clergy Project. Abso-fucking-lutely. They're badass. Keep up the good work. Yes.
Yeah. And we have a couple of them in here I saw that are from the Clergy Project. I saw Mason Lane, Adam Danoon. I've not interviewed Mason, which I really want to, because he's one of my favorites. He's the best. And then I have like a part 1 and 2 with Adam Danoon, that one's really good. Adam's in here. He used to work on staff for Jimmy Swaggart's church.
Ooh.
So where do you have that?
It's okay. So like all of those interviews on my channel, if you go to the Apostate Ashley YouTube channel, I have different playlists, and I have the Clergy Project playlist. And so all of those are there, and I just have them labeled by their names, like Adam Danoon's interview. And so,
nice.
Yeah, I would definitely check that one out. That one's really good. And then I had one with Brian May, that he is a former Catholic priest, and he's gay and had to hide that all that time. That was kind of his coping mechanism to live that way, not being out as a gay man, but living as a priest and being celibate. And then John Lombard, he was a missionary in China, and talks about how he realized while he was there in China that he lost his belief, and went back and told some of the people that he was sorry, he was wrong, and talking through all of that. And then Lon Ostrander, he's the first one that I did, and he is the president of TCP. And then Steve Russell, he actually lives really close to me. I did an interview with him as well, and he is a former pastor at a Wesleyan church, and so we've kind of had a mix. And so I guess you were gonna ask me questions on like what I could do better, and what I've noticed as I've done this. And so, Lon Ostrander was the first interview that I did, and I didn't know like jack shit about what I was doing. And so I had no idea of everything that you have to do when, like, especially like maybe doing a pre-recorded and editing. I have no prior knowledge to any of this stuff. So I will just give a disclaimer that I am very, very, very amateur. Like, I legit jumped on, Googled like what I could do to edit. Like, that's how amateur I was. I just jumped in and was like, I'm going to do this.
And if I can jump in real quick right there, that's what you just said and shared. That is the greatest point to be made, is just fucking do it. Like too many times in life, whether it's a YouTube channel or other things in even our private lives, that we second guess ourselves, and we, can I do this? Am I able to do this? No, you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it. Just do it. And now I sound like I'm a spokesman for Nike, but I'm not. Just do it. And I guarantee you, the first however many, and it doesn't even matter. We just celebrate our 2-year anniversary or birthday. But
I watched that. That was good.
Thank you. Even that one, I can say I still fuck shit up all the fucking time, right? And I still miss all the fucking time. It's not about being perfect. It's not about everything being, beautiful and sexy and everything all the time, because there's some streams that's the last thing you need to be worried about, right? It's about the message. It's about the actual content that you're producing. So first of all, Ashley, good for you and good on you for just making the decision to just fucking do it, right?
That's how I live my life.
Hell yeah!
It's amazing at that point. Like, so many people coming out, you think you're the only one, or you don't know how to do it. You've had no exposure. So, one thing that you've already shown is, just by literally doing that very first show, is that you have the drive to go one step further than someone who just thinks, maybe I'd like to, or I'd like to, but I have no idea how, so I can't, therefore I will never. So, and now that you're here, you're gonna see that you have helpers, people to ask. We'll do a little bit of whatever we can say tonight. There's going to be people in the chat. There's going to be, let us know what you need is in terms of the community and anybody listening to this, and we'll give you feedback and whatever advice that we can give to the degree of our own ability. And then if not, then we probably knows. I mean, Oz for sure knows people to answer whatever. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I will take any criticism, especially like when it comes to the editing, because obviously I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just like, that sounds good. I want to cut that part out and not have that. And, so if anybody at all notices, a better way for me to do certain things, I know there are certain things that I do want to do. I want to work on some sort of intro and outro, but I don't know. It's kind of been like floating around in my mind, trying to figure out exactly how I want to go about that. And I don't really want to have anybody else necessarily do it. I would rather take pointers, and I want to figure out how to do it myself.
You'd like to learn. Yeah. Ultimately, that's always the best, because you have the most control. You're going to have your own whatever style you come up with. And if you don't have a style you're happy with, you can modify it. You can change over time. Then you have the ability. That old thing about teaching someone to fish, right? So what
and I've even Sorry. What am I editing?
What are you editing with?
I've just been using Canva. Right now, I have an obsolete iMac, so I can't download anything. So this is web-based, so it works out good.
Sorry, my phone.
Oh, Jesus is calling.
I will turn him down.
So we'll dig in a little further there, and that's like behind the curtain. And actually, we had a phone call with myself and Jen and Phil and Wes and a few others talking about the networking aspect of this, where we should have people that in the community that we do, or as I now refer to it, the hood, but that we do trust. We can go to, and like, okay, this is my weak spot. Can you help me? Because I know you're strong here.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
And we should be able to have those and not be like intimidated or scared or reluctant to ask those questions, because we should understand we all want to do the same thing, and that is, shout out Pasta Mike, normalize atheism. And normalize the I don't believe what you believe. That should be fucking normal. I don't believe in a God. That should be fucking normal, right? So if we take a couple steps back, Ashley, so we know you're working with Clergy Project. You're interviewing former pastors and priests, and other positions, in the ministry. What is like the overarching goal? What's the main focus in holding or constructing these interviews?
Basically, when I first came up with the idea, like I had said, I had kind of noticed that a lot of their stories and who they were, unless they were out there on their own, maybe writing a book or a blog or having their own channel, which not very many were, it was just really kind of hidden behind in the background. It was just, hidden in the background. Nobody really knew the stories or much about Clergy Project. And I thought that it would be really helpful for, just like these other channels, for people, if they were to come across these channels and hear the reasons why people have left, if they were to also hear the reasons from ex-clergy from all different sorts of denominations, why they left, and seeing that they were for really valid reasons. It's just another group of people who, were leaders within the church that typically have very logical and rational reasons that you can't really, rebut very easy.
Okay. And then,
if that makes sense, meaning like the doctrine, the flaws in the doctrine, and, like Brian having, wanting to live the way that he wanted to live, being able to be gay and freely live as a gay man. And, those are very like kind of legit reasons. And so for more people to hear things like that, just like on these other channels, I just want to be another voice, I guess, out there. But that's slightly different, it being Clergy Project members.
Well, it's
and so I want to keep going. I want to interview as many as I can.
Yeah, and yes, please do. Please do, because it is different, but that's not by any stretch of imagination. That's not a negative or a detractor. It's I think it's more. No, that's not right. Not more important. I think it's critical that we hear and see that leaders that are influencing hundreds and if not thousands of people to do this thing, that they are changing their minds. Their minds are being changed. And you doing that, Clergy Project doing that is so important. That is so important to start at the top, right? And
yeah,
and I think that's I do think that's crucial. Now, as far as the overall big picture for the channel, have you? And if you haven't, it's totally fucking cool, and you don't have to, or would you need it to in the past? But have you, or do you think about or consider other avenues of interviews other than just former clergy? Have you considered that in the future? Have you had any ideas or thoughts like, oh, maybe I'd like to do this too, like anything like that?
I haven't really had any ideas. I've had a couple people approach me asking me if I would interview them. So it's kind of been one of those things where I totally, if it's, I guess interesting enough, I totally would interview just about anybody.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I had a friend, speaking of the whole LGBTQ community, I had a friend that was in Master's Commission at the same one that I was in, who I've been friends with for a long time. And she's been seeing a lot of my posts for quite a while. And I think she's kind of coming out as an atheist too. And she and her wife became shunned by the church that I was a part of, by quite a few people. And I really, really want to talk about their experience since they've gotten married. And I don't know, they just kind of fall in the group of those of us that have left. But I just really think that aspect is really important, especially because a lot of the time in the churches or family members, moms, dads, whoever that are super, super religious can maybe intentionally be malicious towards their child who is not straight, and maybe sometimes unintentionally. And I think it's really important to highlight even the unintentional things. I've been feeling a heart towards some of that stuff, because I think that there are a lot of people that need to hear how harmful the things that they say because of what they believe towards their child or friend or whoever that they're shaming because they're not following their doctrine and what they believe. That was one of the things that I noticed when talking with a couple of them, was how many of the people in their lives that were supposed to love them the most said some of the most hurtful things, even though they were unintentional. And I think that those kind of things need to be brought to light, to say these are the things that are regularly said, and it's not okay. That's shitty. People need to know how shitty that is.
A lot of them too, they don't know how harmful what they're saying is. They don't know the degree to which these things are harmful.
Yeah.
But what always comes to mind in terms of an example is the suicide rates in LGBT teens.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. I think it's the top category of suicide demographics, but it's horrible, and they're like totally unaware of it. They think that the way to solve a problem is to, like in Mormonism, for example, to send it to the elder, as if that's going to have any outcome, and the person goes in and comes out feeling basically nothing but browbeaten and nothing solved, or told useless things like pray harder, or just don't feel that way. Like that's going to be useful. So
I think that, because that's like one of my regrets about being a part of all of that, being a leader, is that I was a part of something that was so hateful and shameful towards people just because of who they loved or who they had sex with. And it's just been one of those things that has been a guilt since then.
But at the same time, though, when you're doing that, you think you're doing good. So it's an odd thing to criticize these people, and I think we do have to recognize that they think they're doing the right thing. So it's not that it's wrong to look at them as bad people, right? Just like you weren't a bad person for doing what you were taught to do and trained to do and raised to do. So that tempers it. And as for those of us who want to help change people's odds, you're like, I want to say something, who are really wanting to get out of it, we have to recognize that, because it's a different technique. It's a different approach to counter that. What did you have to let loose there?
I'm not. I'm going to practice self-control, and not because that's going to lead me down a whole another rabbit trail. Because I want to go back to the content, and that's another conversation maybe we do a panel on, because I think there's going to be a lot of similarities in views on that, and there's going to be a lot of very different views on how we have those conversations.
Yeah.
And as I said, somebody asked me on Facebook the other day, and I said my outlook on that now, and my position and my approach today is severely different than it was a year ago. Severely different. And yeah, that's something we can talk about. We can do a panel or whatever and have fun with that. But Ashley, so well, first of all, before I ask it, when did you officially start your channel?
February?
Okay.
February, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. Awesome. So
congratulations.
Talking about 3 months.
Thanks.
So
Oh wow. Yeah, I guess it has been.
Kicking ass.
Yeah. Well, thanks. I mean, it's really been a lot of help from a lot of you guys. You guys have been super encouraging, and a lot of people have. I mean, I didn't realize like the tight-knit community that there was out here, out online.
in most areas, yes. But we'll leave that alone too. But so 3 months in, and you're in we're having fun and being playful, which is what we do around here. But first of all, congratulations, you're kicking ass. 3 months in.
Thanks.
Gang. When you look back at the and you don't have to look, just off the top of your head, how many interviews do you have on your channel right now? Like
10ish?
Ballpark. So 10 interviews.
Well,
ish. We'll say 10, 12. We'll just leave it at well, whatever. What are one or two highlights that you see so far of the 10 to 12 interviews? What are one or two of the moments that you're the most proud of, that whether it was production, or maybe it's something like, I know this is going to make a difference, or it has made a difference? What are a couple of those moments?
Okay, well, the make a difference one, I'd have to say, is Brian May's interview. I liked him talking so much that I wanted to do another one with him. I thought what he had to say was really important. And then I'd have to say I really, really liked the interview that I did with Adam Danoon. I felt a little bit, I mean, obviously the interview with him was really great. He was just really a really great guest. But that was when I was starting to learn some of the program and what I was doing a little bit more. And so it's like, you just notice, like at that point, there's like a lot more flair and it's a lot better. And so I was proud of myself because it looked really good compared to what I had been doing.
No, that's no, I know exactly how you feel, because I came into this knowing nothing about production. Just like what you're talking about. Fucking, and I still don't know a goddamn thing. Can I be honest? I don't know a goddamn motherfucking thing. And 99.9% of what I learned was from watching and I'll just say it right now, mimicking and just copying Pasta Mike.
Can we all just copy them? Oh yeah, the hell video, my hell video. That was my very, very first one. That one you can tell I didn't know like what I was doing at all. But I like that one because that goes into like me disregarding my whole disbelief on hell and why I don't think it's like a literal place. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
No. I had forgotten about that. That's that one, and the one I don't remember the individual's name, but the former Catholic priest. Those are my two favorite of yours, and that I think hit hard. They hit hard, and whether sometimes when the content when the message is so pointed and so impactful, sometimes the production just goes out the goddamn window because the message is so impactful, right? And the hell video, it's like it did. You could have did that shit on a Fisher Price fucking kid toy, and what you produce as far as content was killer. It was killer. It didn't matter what it was produced on, right? And then that what was that the individual's name, the former Catholic priest, Brian, yeah. That was I there was a couple times it reminded me of being a Christian when I got goosebumps, and I'm like, holy fucking shit, man. I can't even imagine, you know. I can't even imagine, you know. So so you have that, like those are, you know, as far as your channel, you know, yes, those are huge wins. Like those are huge wins, right? And good for you. In 3 months in, 10 to 12 videos in, you know, those it's okay every once in a while just to flex and be like, yep, killed it, nailed it.
Yeah,
nailed it.
I'm doing awesome.
So can I put on my producer hat here and throw in a couple of words?
Yep. Can I do this? Can I do the super chat real quick so I don't forget?
Please, that'll loosen me up that much even more.
All right, we have a super chat from Constellation. That gets us $4.99.
Oh wait, we're supposed to. I'll have water. I'll have my water.
Okay, I want to know why $4.99 and not $5. So put that in the chat, please. Is there some sort of thing going on?
Maybe the penny means good luck.
How much? Yeah, I'm just curious.
Or you just flip that one. You flip that one. Maybe God's real. Maybe he's not. But thank you, Constellation Pegasus, for the $4.99 super chat. Question for Ashley. I'm not aware of Ashley. What was it that made her cross the line to being an atheist?
Well, you're gonna like this one. It's Jesus. It's that I realized that the whole story of Jesus was basically bullshit. That there wasn't sufficient enough evidence for any of that. It was like one of those things I was like, wait, what?
So for those in the chat, we know what that means. Let me get the banner. Let me get the banner.
There we go.
That's all this thing.
And as soon as you've
hydrate.
As soon as you have evidence for Jesus, I'll listen. But it's been a long time coming.
Yeah, that was definitely the hell thing was really kind of what got me thinking a lot. And then when I started looking into the original words that hell was translated from and realized, oh, wow, this is kind of not at all what I thought. There's not the Bible doesn't even back up a literal hell. And then what really pushed me over the edge was just learning more about the Gospels and just how it didn't add up. There's a lot that could be said there, but just that did not add up.
The Gospels don't do the thing that they're meant to do when you overread them.
Mm-hmm.
They're perfect. Kind of get fucked up.
Yeah.
But Phil, you were going to put your producer hat on, so take it away.
I'm going to put my producer hat on for a second here. So, I mean, if I do anything more often than anything else, it is ask people about their headroom. So now, Ashley, your headroom is wonderful. See, Oz,
my headroom? What does that mean?
It's how much space is over your head to the top of the screen, because you want to frame yourself nicely, and yours is great.
Cool.
Oz, you got a little too much. Just saying.
I'm what?
So
what?
You got a little too much headroom.
Here.
Yeah, you want to see a space over the head, and you want to give yourself a little bit of up and round movement so you don't take yourself out of screen. But you don't want to be, I've seen people like doing this kind of thing, know.
I know. I want to, but
So no, so your framing is really good, and I want to.
cool.
You're going to get some constructive criticism in a minute here, so I'm starting with the positive stuff.
Uh-oh.
But you'll like it.
Okay.
The other positive thing I like that you've got, and this is for everybody listening, so these little things, the way you've got your background, I really like, because you have basically divided the picture into thirds, right? You're down the center. You've got stuff on your right shoulder and stuff on your left shoulder, right? The couch, and the pattern over the couch over your right shoulder breaks up the picture, so it's not a sort of a dull continuous background. And that's one no, it's that simple. It's sometimes it's just that simple.
He's looking behind at his dull plain background.
I'm looking at, and Jena does the same thing. She has a pillow up there, so and then you've got a dark window on one side and you got light on the other side, so you've got this nice frame that breaks up, but none of it stands out so much that it takes away attention from you. So that's the other thing. When you're designing your frame, you also don't want to take away attention from the person who's speaking. So you've accomplished all that. You have a wonderful voice, by the way. You have a wonderfully strong voice, and I'm really curious to what microphone you're using, because I see no mic, and yet you're very clear. So maybe you could educate the audience.
I'm trying to. I got the cord kind of rolled. So.
Okay, is that a USB mic?
The blue ball.
Yeah, it's that blue ball thing.
Okay. So everybody write that down. Blue ball works. Sounds great.
Blue balls.
Blue ball. But you can still operate with just one. So there's that. So okay, on to the last thing, which is the constructive criticism. Is lighting.
Well, I was gonna grab more light, but I was running late, so.
Okay. Well, maybe your other lighting is great, but I'll just say this because again, it's instructional for everybody who's watching. Your lighting is relatively flat, right? Where there's really nothing that's very bright, and there's really nothing. Well, the window's dark, but the problem is if you look at a light level from dark to light, the mid range, which is where you're in, essentially the face is in, right, is not standing out as much as it could be. And what I like to recommend to people is that they get some depth between them and their background and on their face itself, because I don't like to see people looking sort of flat light wise. So a couple ways you can do this. Number one, you've got some going on. I see darker on your left side than on the right side. So that's one technique that you've got going pretty good. You see there's a little darkness on your left cheek more than your right cheek.
My left cheek.
Yeah, let me demonstrate on.
Is that my makeup or my camera?
No, it's the position of the lighting. See, if I tilt one of my lights like this gives more depth than that, right? See how flat this is? It's even lighting left to right. You want to get it a little bit off center to get a little 3D effect going on. Okay. And the other thing to do, I would obviously take your light up a bit, but the other thing to do is separate yourself from the background. And you can do that by getting even the tiniest light, pointing it at the background. It obviously doesn't matter when you got a green screen, but in your case, get a little something, point it away from you at the wall. You can also point it at the back of the head to get a little bit of backlight. Those things help to give some dimension that really focuses.
Wait, pointing that way or pointing that way?
Well, if you
pointing,
I tried them both and see how they looked. You want to. I'd point something at that corner, or maybe the one wall over your shoulder, your right shoulder, and so you can even point it at an angle. I don't know if you used to watch the old Star Trek series, they would always have their lights. Okay. You put lights in and you point them at an angle along the wall. It gives the angle, the wall a little something.
Oh, okay.
And if that doesn't work, you put a little something on point at the back of your head, not strong. You do what I'm doing. You sit here and you play around. It's like, how does this look? How does this look? Oh yeah, that's not good. And and then you do the minor things to try to see. But there is lighting to be had for you to give to make your face stand out more, and that makes you more attentive to the audience and makes what you say that much more emphasized.
Okay.
So that would be my
Cool.
producer input.
All right, cool. Thanks.
And if you want any second person helping you with that, you can call and text me anytime.
Okay,
just
cool.
how does this look? How does this look? So
yeah,
okay.
Because that's like I have not been in the same place very much. I've went from place to place because haven't really figured that out.
Yeah. And once, and all those techniques, I mean, you move them from place to place because, like you say, one day you're here, another day you're whatever in another room of the house or another location. But you kind of want to look for those different things. You want to, what is this thing beeping? I'm going to put this in airplane mode right now.
Jesus be wanting to talk to you, Phil. Jesus be wanting to talk to you.
I like the elephant on your hat. I love elephants.
On my hat? Oh,
his hat, not your hat.
Okay.
Oz's hat.
I'm done being a producer now. Shut up.
Oh yeah, I liked that that video or the song that you sent me or you tagged me in. You tagged me and Jena and your Aunt Kathy.
Amazing Grace-ish.
Is that you?
Yeah.
That is? I thought so. I listened to it and I was like, I think that's him. That was cool. I liked that.
I'd be rapping though. Well, I was going to joke around earlier when you were talking about intros and outros. I was going to fuck around, be funny. I was like, but I'd be rapping though.
Yeah, that was really good.
Thank you.
So and I not be rapping. I'd never be rapping.
Phil be dropping bars, and Phil's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" So Ashley, we were the candy bar. He's dropping candy bars.
I'm dropping bars.
Smart.
What are you talking about? These youngins.
So obviously those as far as the content, is concerned, and with production and well, it's like right now I do have this plain ass fucking just painted wall behind me, just because of my circumstance. But that I would agree with Phil that you do want to break it up. You don't want it to be what I have right now, but
you do, Oz. Look, you've got a light behind you, and it's changed one side versus the other. You have texture going on because of the way the light is not even. So that's a very simple example of how just with a little floor lamp you put on the floor and put it wherever it looks good, you've created differential texture. So you got something going on, Oz, right there.
I got was it Michael the Angel? I have his
and now we totally can't not see the elephant now. We just can't stop staring at it. So.
Yes, the elephant. I'll explain the elephant in the room. No pun intended. When we get to the end, but actually we're at essentially an hour and 10, so I want to move this.
Wow.
So we don't keep you up all night. So
okay.
we talked about some of the wins, and as far as content, the actual interviews, as far as the dialogue and that kind of thing. What are maybe one or two things that when you look back, you say, I can get better here, or I can improve here?
Okay, so I can be really awkward at first, like saying hello to the person and, getting things started out. And so I need to work on how I enter into the conversation. And I really want to maybe have some questions on hand that I can refer to, because sometimes I start to be not sure what I'm going to say. for the next part, or how I'm going to segue into something else. And so that's kind of why I resorted to trying to edit things out, because sometimes when I've watched things, I'm like, oh, wow, that was really awkward. Or I don't know why I asked that question. And so I want to work on my questioning and the in-betweens, and I don't know, asking the proper questions.
Well, that would be a whole nother line of questioning. So I'll leave that. Like, what are the right questions or proper questions? But what I will do is give you now. I just muted Pasta Mike so he can't hear anything right now.
Wait, you shut him up? You shut him up so he can't hear anything?
I muted him so he can't
right?
hear a goddamn thing right now. And I will give you the same advice he gave me. And now some of these I had already listened to or been listening to, but him and I can't tell you how many fucking times we talked about this. If you really want to learn how to interview people, and it doesn't matter whether it's religion, fucking politics, economics, social issues, or just for fucking fun, listen to David Letterman, Howard Stern.
Yeah, Howard Stern is good.
Even Joe Rogan, because it's not about, do they talk about the same things I talk about, or are they interviewing based on the same topic? It's knowing when to hit with the question, and how to set up your interviewee effectively, right?
Yeah.
And either tee them up with a beautiful question to hit a home run, or give them that challenging question where it's like, well, no, now you have to put your money where your mouth is, right? And you learn those things, and I did that over and over and over and over again, and trying to get better. And one of my favorites is David Letterman's Netflix series, and that's what I base What's Your Story on, is that format, where it's kind of the back and forth, where it's, we start, we're having fun, we're doing all that, and then we kind of just shift into a more serious conversation, and then I find somewhere in there to then bring it back up to a high point where now we're laughing again, right? And so you're keeping your interviewee and your listeners or viewers engaged at the same time. That way they're not getting bored. So you have that, literally have that roller coaster effect like you do at an amusement park or a theme park, where it's a dun 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 dun, and you keep them going. So that would be my my recommendations as far as interview process. And each person's different, and what I would I guess recommend, or whatever word I want to use there, is none of us are ever going to be a cookie cutter of, even if we would try to be, we're never going to be a cookie cutter of Letterman or Howard Stern, or whomever you may qualify as a great interviewer. But there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. So listen to and consume as much as you can, and then take from those things what you think best fits your model and your personality style, and then put your own seasoning and flavor on it and make it yours. And boom, now you have your recipe.
Yeah. I haven't really thought about watching other people like that.
Yeah. It's a good idea. I like that.
It helps. It helps.
Yeah, I'll do that.
All this time we thought it was natural talent.
No.
Yeah, I know. I thought that would carry me.
It's Phil. It is not natural talent. This is talent given to me by Yahweh, the Supreme, the Alpha and the Omega.
Touched by David Letterman. Let's see.
But yeah, as far as that, Ashley, I would, and it does help. Like it's At first, it sounds like why would I do that? But when you really start to listen to what they do, you're like, fuck, I saw what they did there. Fuck, I saw what they did there. And how their lead-in questions and how they use a lead-in question to set up the next question. That's the home run, right? And it's all strategery. It's all strategery. And yeah, and Mike would either send me clips like, hey, watch this, or we would watch or listen to shit together, and he would coach me through it, like and moving through it. It is invaluable if you embrace it.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thank you. I'm totally going to be doing that.
Yeah,
Maybe looking up some female people out there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, and there's a difference between talent and skill too, right? Talent is essentially what you're born with, right? What's your own personal ability. Skill is something that can be learned, and you can continue to get better and better and better at it, right? Right, Oz?
Right.
So by practice, by learning from others. So.
Yeah,
totally.
And this is going to sound, and I know there's
I don't know who that is, but
that's pretty much a killer on the political right. But I don't know. You don't have a killer attitude, I don't think so. Not sure about that analogy. Other than maybe the popularity level, we'll give you that.
The what?
Popularity level. You've got
popularity
that
level.
Yes, you will be vastly successful over time.
That's cool.
That's my prediction.
Never been popular before.
as we're going through that, I was sitting thinking, and I know a lot of people have their gripes with this individual, but as far as your now, I would say that this person is more of a I personality style, if you understand DISC personality profiling, but it is a little more of a like life of the party type personality than I think you probably are, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I'm definitely not.
But as
life
far
of the
as
party,
well, that's just in the 2 or 3 times you and I have talked, and there's but like I said, when it comes to interviewing, that doesn't fucking matter, right? Being alive, it doesn't matter. It's about knowing how to ask good questions and again, lead in and develop the conversation. And I know this person gets some slack, but is in my opinion, in trying to harness what is serious and also what is fun, and keeping everyone engaged, because we're on YouTube. This is educational and informative, but also entertainment all at the same time, right? And if anybody in the chat laughs at me when I say this, I'm going to ask you to prove me wrong and demonstrate that I'm wrong when I use this. But I think of Ellen DeGeneres and her ability to turn it on and turn it off, and turn it on and turn it off. And she can be funny, she can be serious. She can be funny, and she can be serious.
So awesome. I love her.
Yeah, and she's
so funny.
Yeah.
And that's why I give her props, because some people don't care for her. Some people, don't giving her some slack. But as far as her ability to have conversation, build trust and empathy and rapport, and do all that, which is so important, in an interview process. That's one where when she does that I part of her personality actually kind of takes a back seat, and she's more engaged and serious than she is all over the place, unless they're doing that like somebody's popping out of the table shit that they do.
Don't ever do that. That's terrible. I hate that part.
Oh.
Get ready.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Water. hydrating.
Native Atheist for $10. Tang, thanks
Twice.
for bringing these people to our attention. I would have never known about Ashley and Phil. I'm subbed. Boom.
Thanks.
Terrific. Thank you so much.
And I think producer Wes, I think we had another one.
We got another one.
Uh-oh.
Ashley, they're after you. Just
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. You said something to me the other day. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
See how popular you're getting so fast? This is how it works.
And actually, I don't know if you see. I just interviewed Neil. He did a version of "What's Your Story" with me last Monday.
Yeah, I did see that.
Neil's the whether he wants to admit it or not. Neil's like the motherfucking gatekeeper in his YouTube community. So I'll make sure you have his email and everything. And yeah, you need to be on there. You'll love it. Neil's a badass.
Okay, cool.
Good guy. Very good guy.
Neil's.
Yeah,
Neil.
I saw Kathy on his channel.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's right. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they were on, and then your 2-year anniversary thing started directly after.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that one episode of Neil's when Aunt Kathy said, "Oh, Oz has a great head on his shoulders." Awkward pause when he uses it.
And Neil's one of the people in our community who can stand up to R and Raw in hot sauce competitive contests. So there's this video where they're not drinking, but they're tasting this million level hot sauce. And
gosh.
Neil's right there with them. So
All right, and real quick, because I want we have about 8 minutes, so we've done the questioning and trying to help and support and all that. Ashley, before we dip out, and I want to say this, we whether it's PSF or TANG, we are not the end all be all. We don't know everything, but we do have a lot of people that do have great experience and great tenure. So whether it's Phil or I or somebody that we can say, you know what, I probably shouldn't answer that right now, but I can get you in contact with somebody that can help you or answer that question. That's the biggest part of behind the curtain that we that we want to help with is answering questions, helping people, because again, the rising tide raises all ships. So before we dip out, Ashley, is there any questions that you have for us regarding your channel, do's, don'ts, anything like that?
I don't know that I have any questions, but I would say that what you were talking about with going back and forth between serious and adding in some humor, I've struggled with humor, not like in my daily life or anything, but when it comes to talking about religion and interviewing people. So, yeah, I mean, if somebody wants to point stuff like that out to me, if they notice it or anything, I mean, I would not be offended if anybody wants to say anything, point anything out to me, I guess. So no questions.
Well, one thing you can do, just as sort of a general rule, whenever you're doing a show, is to encourage your viewers to make comments, right? Suggest what did you like, what did you didn't like, or however you want to solicit feedback.
Oh yeah.
And then of course that helps with your algorithm too, doesn't it, Oz, to some degree, to have more comments?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
and
for sure.
Ashley, what was the last? I was banning another sock account from Otangelo when you were finished.
I saw that. I was wondering if it was him.
Yeah, the last part, can you please repeat that, because that asshole fucked it up.
It's okay. It wasn't important. I think I said I didn't really have any questions.
Okay, fair enough.
You will.
What was Otangelo saying? I actually like Otangelo.
What?
Well, whatever he says,
he's always been nice to me.
It's always off topic, whatever's being talked about.
That's true. When he comes into the chats, though, he is he only talks about certain things.
That's how he creeps in. That's how he creeps in.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm your friend. I'm your friend. Boom, you suck.
Really?
Oh, no, that's exactly what happens. Like, there's a reason he is banned from all of our platforms. He's a piece of shit.
I've heard he's banned from a lot of people's. Like everyone.
I mean, there's a common denominator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no.
How's life on the dark side? Somebody asked me that. Life is great on the dark side. I wish I came to the dark side a long time ago. It sucked on the light side.
Who said that? Where's that at?
Sorry, first rule right there. We have the light side.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Farron Salas.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, he's. I'm sorry. They are on our side, so we're good.
Yeah.
But Otangelo can go suck a AIDS infected donkey dick for all I give a shit.
Oz has his own style. What can you say?
Like it or love it.
Yep.
But as soon as here's the problem. Here's the fucking problem. As soon as people like Otangelo show up, we all of a sudden the Shroud of Turin is actually brought up as a legitimate argument.
Yeah. He likes to bring that one up.
What the fuck are you talking about? I need Dr. Josh right now. What? Get out of here. Anyhows. Actually, I feel like oh Jesus, he's back. Another sock account.
Let's ignore him. Let us move on and just ignore him.
No, I am. I'm removing all of his sock accounts. But Ashley, thank you for joining us tonight, and we were right at the 1 hour and a half mark. So before we go, please, one time for everybody, because there are some new names and new faces in here. Let everybody know one more time the name of your channel and anything you have coming up. Let them know, and plug.
Okay, well, I don't have anything currently coming up right now. I mean, other than maybe some videos that I'm working on. I'm going to put the invitation out there for some more Clergy Project members to do more interviews. So I guess look for some more interviews coming up, because that's basically my only plan at the moment. And you can find me on YouTube at Apostate Ashley, on TikTok, Facebook, and the Twitter account for the Clergy Project is at Project Clergy. Follow them too. That's actually me behind there. And so basically just Apostate Ashley. Just search it, and if it's there, it's me.
No, that's awesome. And again, thank you, Ashley. And I do want to, and I meant to do this earlier, and I forgot. But anybody in the chat right now that you're here, and I've heard Ashley mention your name a couple times. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks for being on the channel, and thank you for supporting Ashley. She deserves. She not only does she deserve it, but she's earned it, and there's a big difference. She's earned it and deserves it. So thank you for hanging out with us and doing the damn thing here with the TANG gang.
Yeah, thank you.
and I know I know my style sometimes feels like just ignore the Oz guy for a minute because he's talking shit. But I'm playing. But I love Phil. Phil's awesome. Anything you'd like to add or share, Phil, before we go?
Well, first off, I got to counter what you just said. Oz, it takes all kinds, and I mean that literally and kindly. It's like people like to have different different flavors or different preferences and styles of music. Whatever I say about you is not a criticism. It is a flavor, and everybody's got their thing, and we are serving a very broad audience with diverse preferences. So nothing negative implied at all in what I said. Matter of fact, I love it because when I see somebody doing something specifically, especially that appeals to a younger audience as opposed to this kind of face, I think that is that much more useful. So I love what you're doing. I love seeing Ashley, you're doing what you're doing at your age and your enthusiasm at this level. So, okay, my own plugs. Believe in Reality on YouTube. Please, I'm still trying to push that little tiny channel over 100 subscribers. Primarily, though, I'm here for promoting PSF, the Promethean Secular Frontier. We've got several shows a week. We are trying to push toward that elusive 667 subscribers. So push us up there, please, and check out our shows over there. Women Atheists Unload is on Sunday. Crucible is on Monday. Michael Weissman's The Bible Says What on Tuesdays. Secular Soapbox on Wednesdays. Sandbox Debate Club on Thursdays. And the Mike Carey Tiger Talk on Fridays. Some Fridays. So tons of stuff, interesting stuff. Go check us out, please. YouTube.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And normalizing atheism hit the nail on the head. Oz flavored ice cream. Yeah. Phil was like,
oh, you are going to tell us about that elephant, aren't you? You're not going to let us go. You said you're going to explain the elephant at the end.
Yes, I will. But I do have to say that I could tell by the way Phil responded to Mike's post. He was like, "Give me a double dip of that Oz ice cream. I need a dip."
Really?
I need a double dip. I need a double dip.
What is that Chris Hemsworth reaction? Really?
So real quick, so we get Ashley at her because she's probably like, I wish these fuckers would shut up so I can go to bed.
No.
So the hat is.
I want to hear you tear apart your brother's sermon.
Oh, I'm about to shred this shit.
So I'm not going to bed yet, but okay, the elephant.
Yeah, I'm about to shred this shit. But the elephant. So this was a comedian. It was the one that opened up for Joe Gatto, which is an asshole. But I'll talk about that later. This is the guy that opened up for him, and the elephant on the hat. It's so simple. He's getting ready to get married, and he's selling all of these hats because he wants to have an elephant he wants to have an elephant at he and his fiance's wedding.
That's awesome.
That's it.
But it's a pink elephant. He can do that by just drinking enough. So that's
or just take enough shrooms or acid or
if you want to get technical, maybe a projector that would work too.
Yeah,
just saying.
So I asked him, I was like, so how much are you charging for the hats? He was like, $30. I was like, nah, bro. He was like, but you work here. I was like, so how much? He's like, I'll give you one. I was like, oh, okay, then I'll take it. I ain't paying money for that shit.
I'm very supportive of you. And by the way, support us all on Patreon. We all have our Patreon channels.
Yes. Yeah, we'll wrap it up here. Again, one last time, Ashley, thank you for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Phil, you want to say something?
I was just going to ask Ashley if you have a Patreon channel up that people can take a look at.
I don't have anything like that. No.
Add that to your to-do list. Check it out.
Okay.
That's because you can get that second the second blue ball microphone.
Blue ball.
Oh.
Blue
What
balls.
do we keep talking about blue balls? Jesus fucking Christ! What kind of channel has this turned into, Phil?
Well, that's what it's called. It's like a blue Yeti microphone, and it's a shape of a ball, so it's a blue ball microphone.
All right. Well, since I made such a big deal about lighting, you can buy a cool light. How about that? You can
Yeah.
get a little Patreon income. How about that?
But the problem is, and then as soon as I say this, I will end the stream because actually, no, producer West. I'm sorry, I'm used to doing it. Producer West, just know as soon as I'm done with this statement, just end the stream. So we're done. The problem with the blue ball comments is.
Follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road. Follow